Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished guests and delegates, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Ayubovan, Vanakkam, Namaste. It is a pleasure to join you at the NDTV World Summit 2025 here in New Delhi, a city that holds some of my most formative memories. I thank NDTV for the invitation to be part of this global gathering and for creating a forum for meaningful dialogue. Since its establishment, NDTV has been a prominent news organization and a platform for vigorous public discourse. Over the years, it has evolved as a convener of ideas, bringing together leaders, thinkers, innovators, cultural icons, and other voices to engage in dialogue at the NDTV World Summit. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, standing here in Delhi feels like coming full circle. 3 decades ago, in the early 1990s, I was a student at Hindu College, a young student from Sri Lanka, navigating a world in flux. Delhi was a city of ideas then, as it is now, reflecting the enduring spirit of India through the centuries. It was a period of change and economic reform. For many of us students, it was our first encounter with the concept of risk in life, in economics, in politics, and in identity. Returning now, several decades later, I see an India transformed, a confident, vibrant nation of 1.4 billion people charting its own path. India today stands among the fastest growing major economies in the world. Its digital revolution, green transition, and infrastructure initiatives are laying the foundations for Viksit Bharat, a vision of a developed and prosperous nation. India's journey offers valuable lessons for all developing countries, including my own. This spirit of progress and partnership was also evident during President Andhra Kumara Dissanayaka's state visit to India as his first overseas visit in 2024, and during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Sri Lanka in April this year. Reaffirming Sri Lanka's place in India's neighborhood first policy and Mahasagar vision, the discussions highlighted practical, multidimensional cooperation, reflecting a shared focus on resilience, growth, and shared prosperity. The conferring of Sri Lanka's highest honor, the Mitra Vibhushana, on Prime Minister Modi symbolized the strength of the enduring friendship and partnership between our two nations, and importantly, our peoples. On behalf of the people of Sri Lanka, I wish to express our deepest gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and most importantly to the Indian people for the assistance and sustained support extended to us during Sri Lanka's most severe economic crisis in 2022. This support is a lasting reminder that India's help at our hour of need is remembered and deeply valued by our people. The theme of this summit, Risk, Resolve, Renewal, captures the reality of our age. We live in a time when change no longer moves in predictable cycles. Instead, it arrives in shocks. A pandemic, a climate crisis, geopolitical shifts, and rapid technological disruption have together redefined what leadership demands. Uncertainty today is not episodic, it's structural, touching not only economics and security, but also trust, values, and the very meaning of progress. Yet uncertainty also brings opportunity. It compels us to rethink, to innovate, to reimagine, to adopt, and to imagine new possibilities. Leadership in such times is about equipping societies to respond with resilience, fairness, foresight, empathy, and effective communication. Risk is often portrayed as peril, sometimes mistaken for recklessness. However, risk is also the first step towards renewal and progress. Without taking risk, growth and change remain impossible. At the same time, as leaders, we must remember that risk may be experienced differently by different groups of people. So ensuring that the vulnerable and the marginalized are protected at all times is also critical. We must refrain from romanticizing risk as if that is the only impetus for change as well. Sri Lanka's path has been challenging. The past few years have been a lesson in both fragility and fortitude. As you know, Sri Lanka faced a period of severe economic and political crisis in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Economic instability, shortages, and institutional challenges were compounded by political uncertainty, testing the nation's governance and social cohesion. Yet, the resilience and determination of the Sri Lankan people shone through. Sri Lanka's political history is marked by persistent popular mobilization, yet electoral processes have continued. The 2022 Aragalaya stands out in this long history of dissent for its scale, character, and impact. Unlike earlier movements, the Aragalaya forced the resignation of the former president, prime minister, and cabinet through largely peaceful protests without any visible political party leadership or a central figure guiding the movement. While loosely organized coordination structures existed, no single individual or group controlled the movement, reflecting a deliberate departure from traditional party-driven politics. Though it did not immediately change the government, the Aragalaya shaped public discourse and public consciousness and laid the groundwork for subsequent political shifts. The significance of the Aragalaya lies not just in the act of protest, but in the citizen mobilization it exemplified, a self-conscious, non-partisan demand for systemic change, transparency, and accountability. Even as state-sanctioned violence attempted to suppress the demands under the banner of law, order, and political stability, citizens' engagement persisted.
It's an honor that you had the opportunity and you gave us the privilege of addressing from the stage in your first visit to India. As I promised, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, but don't worry, my Hindi is as rudimentary, so I won't trouble you with Hindi. Did you manage to have chole bhature this time?
Yes, I did.
And is it the same as what it was then?
Even better.
You know, an anthropologist, as I started becoming a prime minister, who understands society better? Does an anthropologist understand society better, or politicians are smarter at understanding society?
See, the purpose of understanding something is also to transform it. So I think being an anthropologist and a politician, that gives me an added advantage. Not only do I get to understand the world better, but I can also play a part in transforming it. So, yeah.
All the knowledge of studies gets into actual transformation. My last question for you, we have a small gift for you as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
You know, a young Harini Amarasuriya, that's very, very young, but what would Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya like to tell a young Harini Amarasuriya, or what do you think she would have thought of you if she saw you on the stage?
I think she would not have believed this, but this is what I would want to say to the young Harini there, to seize any opportunity that comes your way. Life is not a linear path. Unexpected things happen, and you have to take it. I think that's what risk is all about. That's what leadership is all about. So you take the risk and you go with it, and amazing things can happen.
May more amazing things happen to you. I promised you that we'll keep this completely apolitical, so no political questions on this platform. But thanks so much for being with us here on stage. We have a small gift for you, which we'll hand over to you till, this is a token of appreciation from NDTV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.